Well, it keeps you from going insane.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think humans are very good at kind of keeping tethered to reality. If you're constantly surrounded by people that you are either you have a motivation to lie to or withhold facts from, or are working within a system that doesn't make sense and is not based on any real evidence or data. You see how people you'll get the odd one who goes through, and at first they're completely enraged, and then for whatever reason they actually they drink the Kool-Aid fully at the treatment center, and they get back and they're ready to get to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to follow whatever, maybe it's through the 12 steps. It doesn't matter what guidelines for recovery you follow. Inevitably, you will come to this point where all of them demand that you evaluate how honest you're being with yourself and others, right? So for the poor guy who buys into the system early and is really trying to work it, can you imagine the mental gymnastics that would have to go on? Because on the one side, it's going to cost you all this money. It's such a pain in the ass. You want to be honest because that's what the treatment people are telling you.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, if you do, there's a big chance that could come back and bite you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they break. Maybe they try going full blown Ned Flanders and then get burned a couple times and then play the game and come out super resentful. I don't know, but it's a tough one, right? If you don't have any, and I think about that often, Corey, how you did have that counselor that was, I think you were fortunate that you found one that seemed to really you connected with, and their suggestions seemed to really work with your particular mind, and it was a real positive. And I wonder how much of it was being able to just openly discuss things. And, they'll tell you that's what the Caduceus group is for, right? But try that at 99% of Caduceus groups. You go ahead, be my guest. Go in there and tell that group of people that you're having a bad day, and that a couple of days ago you stopped in front of the liquor store and your hands were shaking,
mm-hmm.
and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could decide if you want to go through that again, because unfortunately most of those groups are everyone just judging everyone else or looking for signs of impairment. It's it again is not an area where you want to really open up.
No. I think going back to what you said, though, I think having someone, or I had multiple people in my corner early on, but having a counselor who where it is clear that it is only your best interests that they have in mind, that they are not tied to any of the other systems or any of the other organizations. They are just in your corner, period.
If you see or detect a conflict of interest, a financial conflict, it's tough. So having somebody where the give and take is, it's clear, it's transparent. We know what everybody's doing. Yeah. One is providing a service and the other is benefiting from that service. Your confidentiality is taken care of. It's I don't know how the hell anyone beats any kind of a substance use problem without finding some kind of honesty.
Yeah.
And mostly it's honesty with yourself.
For sure. Nathan, we've talked about we're already kind of talking about the psychological impacts here. That's so part and parcel with the conversation, but I just happen to be open to some of the lifestyle implications of monitoring contracts. And it's really interesting. I think it's something that a lot of people won't, unless they've been involved in it, don't know about the things that the list of things that you have to omit from your diet and from your potential medications. quite a lengthy list, and becomes a source of fear and paranoia for so many people. But I've got the medication list and the food list here, and I won't read every single medication because this would be a 2-hour show. But so alcohol, obviously, beverages and foods containing alcohol, cooking that contains alcohol or cooking alcohol, de-alcoholized beverages, any kind of sleep aid or sleeping pill, obviously, pain relievers. So either anything with codeine, hydrocodone, obviously, including things like T1s or Advil that contains codeine, any benzos. And now those are kind of the most obvious, but then it also gets into cough suppressants. So anything that contains dextromethorphan, any kind of cough syrups, Gravol,
even
Benadryl,
guaifenesin,
even guaifenesin, yes,
which is an expectorant. It has very little effect outside of it just makes mucus thinner. Can't get high off it that I'm aware.
No. So Gravol and Benadryl are probably, and correct me if you have another one, but I would put those at the top of the list of ones that become most concerning or most frustrating for individuals, in that they are, I remember our friend Sheldon had talked about that, about having the experience of having an allergic reaction. And if you take Benadryl, you're going to have to explain yourself to your monitor, and you'll be under the microscope for taking Benadryl. Now these drugs, that's right. And these drugs can have a bit of a psychoactive effect if you're taking larger doses. There's been talk in the media about youth misusing Gravol and Benadryl.
So, but you're allowed to, you could still take your quetiapine, you can still take your lithium, you can take your venlafaxine, you could even take your gabapentin sometimes, which is, the point is that if your idea is to alter your mood with a substance, then they can have the biggest list in the world, but it will never be big enough.
No, stimulants are on here, obviously, Ritalin, Adderall, stuff like that. Where it gets quite crazy, and where it gets to be again a source of stress and anxiety for people on the monitoring program are the foods. And so, like I said, any alcohol with any food with alcohol in it. But in addition to that, mouthwash is on there as a no.
Hand sanitizer.
Sanitizer.
Work in a hospital, you're hitting your hands with 70% all day long. All of a sudden, you show up with alcohol metabolites, 5-day-old alcohol metabolites, and you get a positive.
Yep. Vanilla extract, coconut extract, almond extract. Any of those extracts have alcohol in them. Tiramisu.
And the old classic poppy seed muffin.
So can you talk about that for just a second? Poppy seeds?
They used to have the opiate, they have cutoffs for detection of these substances. So when these first came out, they were so overly sensitive that if you ate a poppy seed muffin within a couple of days of a urine test, you would test positive for opiates. And that caused a lot of problems for a lot of people, because many people don't understand that that's even possible. So, but if you're anywhere where that information is disclosed, then all of a sudden people are looking at you and they go, I had no idea. This doesn't seem that type. What's going on here? And this has happened with, false positives they're just a thing. I got one throughout monitoring for methadone.